Hey, so we're gonna get into Ruth 1 today. In the last video, we kind of went over like the first half of Ruth 1 about Naomi and Elimelech and Ruth and Orpah. But I just want to give you a quick synopsis. So, Naomi is married to Elimelech, and she has two sons. And Orpah and Ruth married the two sons. Ruth is the first daughter-in-law, Orpah is the second. Unfortunately, Elimelech and his two sons die, leaving Orpah, Ruth, and Naomi all widows. Okay, so in the second half of Ruth 1, let me get my Bible. It's so big. I'm just going to start on verse 6, and I'm going to go to 14. So this is Ruth 1, 6 through 14. It's just basically, I just gave you the first 5 verses. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law that she may return to the land of Moab. Moab is like where Bethlehem is. That's where she's from. Okay. For she had heard in the land of Moab that the Lord has visited his people in giving them food. So she departed from the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on the way to return to the land of Judah. And now Judah is like the ancestral home of the Israelites. Okay. And Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go, return each of you to her mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. May the Lord grant you that you may find rest, each of her house and her husband." Then she kissed them and lifted her voices and wept. And they said to her, "No, but we will surely return with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Have I yet sons in my womb that they may be your husbands? Return, my daughters. Go, for I am too old to have a husband. If I said, I have hope, if I should even have a husband tonight, and also bear sons, would you therefore wait until they were grown? Would you therefore refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, for it is harder for me than for you. For the hand of the Lord has gone forth against me." And they lifted their voices and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. Okay, so basically, after Elimelech and his 2 sons died, they were all just going to go back to Judah. To help provide for themselves. It's very hard for a widow in this time. There are to provide, because most women can't work, and so there's Jewish laws protecting the widows, and so the Jewish people would have had to take care of them. So there's this law. It's called it's a Jewish law. It's called the Levirate marriage. It's a Levirat. I'm just going to explain it to you real quick, and you'll understand why in a minute. It's when, let's say, Jane, husband died, and husband's died, okay? But Jane's husband, Rick, has a brother named Bob. Well, Bob would have to marry, who did I say her name was? Jane? I don't remember. Have to marry Jane now, okay? Because he'd be obligated to take her in. Okay, so this law basically states that if the brother dies, the other brother takes the wife of the brother that died, okay? And it's just a common practice. But so this would have applied to Ruth and Orpah. But because Naomi didn't have any more sons, this didn't apply. And since they were both childless, they were therefore released from the care of Naomi, and they could go back and marry other men because they were both still young. And so they said, no, we want to stay with you. But Naomi was like, I can't get, like, even if I got married, like, I wouldn't be able to, like, you wouldn't be able to marry the sons because it'd be so young. And you wouldn't want to wait around for that. And so um, so Orpah loved her mother-in-law a lot. But she kissed her, and then she went back to her mother's house. However, Ruth stayed with Naomi. Now, I have this thing about Ruth and Orpah. What the decision Orpah made was not the wrong one. It was not a bad decision. Look at it like this: if you had a chance after your husband died, if you had a chance to go and find love again and be remarried and you're young, you don't even have children, are you gonna stay with your mother-in-law who's old and like you wouldn't really have much in common and there's really nothing to do? Like, what decision do you make? So that's what Orpah did. And there's nothing wrong with what Orpah did. It was perfectly within her legal rights. It was perfectly within the customs. Now, that's what makes what Ruth did, like that contrast with Orpah, is what makes what Ruth did so amazing. She's like, no, I'm going to stay with you regardless if I get married or not. And that's Ruth clung to her. So Orpah left to get remarried, but Ruth forsaked that option in order to stay with Naomi to be with her, because she loved Naomi so much. Not that Orpah didn't, and it's not that Ruth loved Naomi more. It was just a different decision that she made. So Ruth gave Naomi a promise with a promise saying, do not urge me to leave or turn back from following you, for where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Okay, that's verse 16 through 17. Ruth 1, and Ruth was was going to take care of her mother-in-law, was going to be there for her, no matter what. And it's just so amazing what Ruth did. Like, she decided she was going to be with her mother-in-law when she could have left and gotten married, when she could have gone back home and been like, hey mom, I'm back, let's find another husband and I can have kids. Okay, so that's why what Ruth did was so amazing, because of the Levirate law and because of the contrast with Orpah and the customs of that time. So, see the end on that. I'll be posting another video soon.